Okay, questions?
Okay, I had a question a couple days ago, and if Hashem made this world to, I guess, connect to Him and be close to Him and things like this, why did He make non-Jews? Why aren't we all just Jewish?
He didn't do that, we did.
Well, I guess let me rephrase and say, not Jewish and not Jewish. Why didn't He give everybody the same amount of ability to connect to Him?
Initially he did. Mankind degenerated until Avraham Avinu. So Hashem chose him. So all the stories of the Bereshis, Noach, of all the generations, Hashem created Adam. Adam was humanity. It wasn't Jewish, non-Jewish. And then most of humanity degenerated. And Avraham Avinu was the first one that turned things around. So he was chosen, and then of his descendants, his children, Yitzchak was the one that followed. Ishmael went in a different direction, and then of his grandchildren, it was Yaakov versus Esau. So then we became the Jewish nation.
Talmud question. Bava Metzia, Ing Metzia stuff, Lamed Bet, second side. Rabbi Shmuel lies to someone. He lies to the man with the twigs. Is it okay for a rabbi to lie to someone, especially like a guy like this is a big guy? And are there times that you find that you will lie to protect someone or to...
There are very, very clear halachic guidelines for when you're allowed to change the truth. The pasuk says, "Midvar sheker tirchok," distance yourself from something false. Distance yourself from a falsehood. It does not say don't lie. The Torah is very, very, very severe. In other words, what the Torah is saying is not only don't lie, but distance yourself from a falsehood, which means don't insinuate anything that's not true. No little white lies. But the pasuk continues, "V'naki b'tzadik al taharog." Don't kill an innocent person. What the Torah is telling us is that the lying that is prohibited is something that is bringing about an injustice. Whereas bending facts to bring about justice is permissible. So long as it's not in the court. In the court, there's no lying, period. So, for example, Yaakov and Esau. Yaakov is, but he's the one that he stands for truth. He's the one that brought truth into the world. And he's got a lie and say that he's Esau. How come? Because Esau had misled his father into thinking that he deserves the blessing. Rivka, who was impartial, told Yaakov about that and told him that this is what he's got to do. He was preventing an injustice. He was preventing Esau, who doesn't deserve the blessing, preventing him from getting it. From there we learn that lying means bringing about injustice. Lying to bring about justice is permissible. Also, lying that doesn't do anything. There are no consequences. The Torah doesn't prohibit it. It's meaningless. That's rabbinically prohibited unless there's a good purpose to it. So, the classic of Beis Hillel is saying that when you dance in front of the Kala, you say that she is Kala Nal Chasuda. You say that she's beautiful. You say that she's great midos. You know it's not true. Why is that permissible? Listen, they're married already. Too late now. And he asked you for information about the Kala before they met. That's something else. But they're now married. So what you're telling is not an injustice. All you're doing is making them feel good. So, something that has no consequences and has a constructive purpose, such as making the chassan feel good, is right, the right thing to do. Yeah.
I want to just jump back for a second to the to I guess viewing Goyim. We've had a lot of different lessons about the importance of the Jewish nation, the birth of the Jewish nation, and how I remember you said, I think in the first one, that we don't share our love letters with strangers like with the Torah. And so I know me personally, I'm probably going to go into the business world and to be interacting with a lot of Goyim. I really want to know how to really perceive and to feel about the Goyim around me, because I know if I'm surrounded by Yid and I see that we all have this shared cause and I understand our purpose. So I'm very curious about
Okay, number one. A non-Jew has a brain and has free will, which is the first aspect of Tzelem Elokim, of being created in the image of God. We share many common experiences. That was shared human experiences. We share them. Although our goals in life are totally different, our situations in life are often the same, which means that we have the ability of understanding them. We have the ability of being there for them. We can identify with them and understand their pain. And that's right. They're humans. We even respect their intelligence. What we disrespect are their values. Don't confuse the two. Yeah.
What about like a righteous like Christian or something like that, where their values are in their eyes like similar to our values? Like they're trying to become holier people or things like this, but it's not like a Jew's purpose of connecting to Hashem, but it's still like them trying to.
We respect that. We sort of respect that. We respect, we encourage, we advise. Sure. Yeah.
Hey, two Shabbos questions. Can you do yoga on Shabbos? And can you move like a light that's like on already? Like you...
Both, the answer to both is yes.
I was also wondering, what's the best way to find a Rav for yourself if you're like still on the path to like doing more halakha and things like this, but like I feel like especially being in yeshiva, there's so many different rebbeim that have like different outlooks on. Like,
first thing you have to see is what speaks to you. And you see, going to a Rav is really taking the place of you making your own decision. You should be making your own decision. You just don't know enough yet. So you got to go to a Rav. So you have to go to somebody that you think, is closer to understanding your wavelength. So the answer you're getting from him is probably going to be the answer that you would have gotten yourself had you studied what he did. You got to feel that you relate to him. Because you're growing, it may not be the same Rav that you're using today that you want to use a year from. So keep that in mind. As you grow, you're probably going to want to change your Rav. As you further define yourself, you'll have a better way of understanding who it is that you should be asking.
Regards to work-learning balance, if you're someone who has a plan to stay in yeshiva long term, you're not necessarily saying, okay, I need to invest in yeshiva for 6 months and then go back to university or go back to work. Let's say you've graduated university, you're like, I want to just learn Stam until I feel like I've gotten to where I can move next in my life. How do you contemplate the idea that maybe you should be working a little bit while you're in yeshiva in order to prepare for some type of career after yeshiva if you're in a long-term yeshiva experience? You obviously also, let's say that you're in yeshiva for a long time, and then you're ready to get married. You don't want to have no money to get your wife a coffee on the first date, etc. Like, how should you go about balancing that?
Get her a cold coffee.
I mean, ideally, you have to find something that is not all-consuming. I'm not just talking about the amount of hours a day you're going to have to work. What I'm talking about is something you're not going to have to be dreaming about all day, so you'll have peace of mind to be able to learn. Whether it's a profession, whether it's a business. Ideally, it should be something that will allow you to really dedicate a good part of your day to really, really learning.
Would it be wrong to say, you know what, I just want to learn, and at some point I'll start working? How do you know when?
How are you going to know? You think, first of all, I'm assuming you have an education.
Right, yeah.
You have an education. There's a professional way, there's a profession
Right.
in something you. At entry level, you'll be able to support yourself.
Right. Does it make sense to try to start gaining some money, or does it make more sense to just learn and then maybe start working later?
The purpose of getting money now is not so much for the sake of getting money now. It's much more for the sake of establishing yourself so that when you do get married and need more, you'll be able to be making a decent living by then.
Okay.
Whereas if you're a total beginner, you may not be able to support yourselves.
Okay. Thank you.
On the topic of marriage shidduchim, do you think that values and a shared purpose are enough for a shidduch, or do you think that more is needed?
No, the compatibility and a real feeling that this is somebody that I can and will grow with.
And how would you describe that feeling from your experience?
You feel that this person is really good, not selfish, insightful, idealistic.
That's shared values.
It's not only values. It's we think about everybody and everything.
I want to build on what he said. At what point, in your perspective, is someone ready to leave the yeshiva system and go work?
When you're solid, not only in your Judaism, but in your love for learning. Meaning that you're independent in your learning, you continue learning outside the yeshiva, and that you have enough of a love for it that you will continue to learn. Whereas if you don't love learning, as soon as you leave yeshiva, you are going to feel free and not have to open a book.
You're specifically referencing Gemara?
Gemara, because those are, if you master Gemara skills, you can read anything. If you don't master Gemara skills, you're very limited.
Thank you.
I guess a similar question, but for marriage, how do you know when you're ready in the yeshiva system to start shidduch dating?
How do you know? I mean, yeshiva, I would hope that there are a rebbeim that you're close to that can help you make that decision. And hopefully they're level-headed people. We got a couple of those here. Good. Yeah. See, because if you're not here, that's problematic. Because out on the street, lots of people get married when they're not really ready, or marry someone who's really not for them. Because they don't have the ability to really discuss things with Rebbe.
Back on those a few questions ago, in choosing your Rebbe, a lot of them I connect with on different levels. I feel like
you can have different ones for different things. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Side.
Yeah, I mean, the people I learned under that I so respected, but I would never consider asking them some personal questions.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I felt that they understood life, but they didn't understand me.
I guess like two quick ones. But the first one is when you put on tzitzit, you say the bracha before you put on the tzitzit or after you put on the tzitzit?
Just to put it on. Really, you're supposed to make the bracha just before you put it on.
Just before.
Yeah. If you can, such as you're putting them on in the morning, and you're going to use the washroom, and only then you're going to wash your hands, so then you say the bracha later.
After everything. You put it on, go to the bathroom. Wash.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the second question is, let's say you're carrying a water bottle around everywhere, inside, outside, but you're constantly drinking from it. When do you say a bracha? When do you say a bracha?
If you're going to a specific place, then when you leave your house, you have to make another bracha. When you get to the place, you make another bracha. If you're going here and there and everywhere, then your place is all of them, and you just make one bracha.
Okay. And do you have to have intention that you're going to like finish the bottle? Or,
No.
Yeah, I just want to ask Zach, for you guys. I don't know if you guys want any questions.
I was gonna go back to the to the about how humanity degenerated, but you can ask your question first.
Okay, I'll ask. Just very quickly, you mentioned that we should respect, encourage, and advise other religions. I don't want to misquote you. Did you say that?
Members of other religions.
Members, yeah. So so if someone is, for example, a Buddhist and they're very peaceful, and there's people that don't have religions that are very violent and they're not so moral, but there's a Buddhist who's doing his own thing, and I meet him. Should I love him and encourage what he does and say?
You don't encourage what he does. You don't encourage what he does. You have a respect for what he does and what it does for him. But at the same time, he's involved in idolatry.
Even if the values are like this is a Buddhist thing, but it's a Jewish value.
You can respect some of his values, but the question of do you respect what he's doing, or encourage what he's doing? The good aspects, yes, but the paganistic ones. I mean, it's hard to call them pagans. They are worship nuns, but they're not pagans. It's funny. Paganism is full of superstition. It's not. And black magic and all that. Whereas Buddhism is not about black magic. And
What if he's Muslim? Is that different?
Muslim we have less of a problem with. We believe in the same God. That they just rewrote history and had a false prophet.
It's a small thing.
What was your question?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask. I don't know. I forgot whose question it was about. Why are there non-Jews? Why wasn't everyone given the same responsibilities and abilities to connect with God? And you said that it's because initially it was, and that humanity degenerated from then. But Adam still knew who God was. He knew that there was one God. He knew he was created by God. He'd spoken to God. And after the sin in Gan Eden, I think there's a midrash that Adam did teshuvah. So why did God not choose Adam instead of Abraham? What caused? Why did they have to go through all of those generations, the 10 generations? Or not 10. What is 10 between Noach and Abraham?
It's 20 altogether.
20 altogether. Why can't, if the goal, I'm trying to view it in the framework of the Ramachal.
So we don't know what makes Abraham better than everybody else.
Why did God not just start again with Adam? Why did he not form the relationship he formed with Abraham with Adam?
The relationship formed with Abraham, the Torah says very, very clearly, it's not just because Abraham was a good guy, but because he did outreach. Or he was trying to change humanity.
Do you think Adam would have had outreach if there were other people that existed?
Well, by the time he did Shuvah, there were other people.
Oh, really?
And they were all his descendants, but
And did all his descendants not also believe in one God?
They
so
did,
recent.
They did until his grandchildren, the Dor Enosh, the generation of his grandchildren,
Uh-huh.
already got into idolatry, meaning
How did that happen so fast?
Rambam explains that it began with him realizing that Hashem had given so much power to the sun, the moon, to all kinds of things, and they knew all kinds of secrets we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They decided, well, we'll back down to that. Until eventually Hashem was forgotten, that's all they remember. No, yeah.
How should we determine which midrashim are literally to be taken as true? As in Rambam says that not all of them should be.
We assume that every midrash is meaningful, and we have no reason to believe that any are true, although we know that some are.
Okay.
The answer is we couldn't kill this.
So we should try to
The
take all
message of the midrash is true. Is the story a made-up parable, or is it story history? We don't know. We don't really care. It doesn't make much of a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like Rambam and Rashi have such insights that are like not found anywhere else. How divinely inspired or prophetic were they really? Like, what was the level that they're on?
We don't know. We really don't know. What we do know is that they must have been so brilliant. They're so brilliant. I don't know. I read a graphology report on Rambam's handwriting. Well, we have Rambam's handwriting. The graphology report on Rambam's handwriting, and they say that he had. I mean, his brain was so well developed. Like anything a brain can do, he did.
Well,
it takes a lifetime to study his writings, and even then, who knows if you got him right.
I wanted to ask, I know we mentioned it briefly a couple times ago, but we talked about like guys learning Torah, and then I learned also in the Rambam how like such a big part of that is connecting to like Hashem with the eternal truths that you know, and for girls it's different. And then you mentioned that there's like a guy neshama and girl neshamas. How does that work?
How does that work? Because everyone's a half a neshama.
Half a neshama.
I mean, everyone's a half a neshama. And it's you know, they're male and female ones, and together they make whole neshamas. But in these, you know, for many generations already, were recycled, and you don't get your other half. And as neshamas are created, I mean, are matched up, get all kinds of things. And you get women with sort of masculine neshamas and men with sort of feminine neshamas.
Could you explain that a bit? Like there's like the initial half, and then they become whole.
And then when they come down the second time around, it could be that only one half of it came down in one generation, the other half in another one.
Okay, but it's still that the whole half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are, you know, there are these tough women, and there are these effeminate men.
And so if a tough woman learns Torah, or an effeminate man doesn't, or let's say an effeminate man learns Torah, I guess does he get the schar because it's a girl neshama, which has different.
Are tough women and feminine men not as appreciated in Yiddishkeit?
What are you talking about? Some of the greatest Jewish women were so tough.
As you said, you get mixed up in neshamas or something.
Get mixed up in Shabbos, but you can accomplish so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in terms like the schar connecting to Hashem and the Torah.
At the end of the day, everyone gets it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rav.
Thank you so much, man.